Trump and Carney are saying, we love you so much, Canadians. We want to defend our sovereignty against Trump. And so we are ready to tax you more with 25% tariffs. It's crazy. Canadians are paying for that. We must not participate in that trade war and put everything on the table to have a deal. That's the only thing that we must do, but also to add to have a better and more productive economy.
Now, you've run in several elections, and the party has not broken through in any one district. I mean, you get a certain number of votes, but it's spread out in our first past the post system. I personally really regret that you were not allowed to participate in the leaders' debate in 2021, because you were the only party leader at the time that had a contrary view to the lockdowns and the no-fly list and the mandate for vaccines. And I think the country would have benefited tremendously from hearing the other point of view. I think there was collusion amongst all five parties to keep you out. Now, I see this year that the leaders' debates plans to have the tiny Green Party participating, plus I'll call them more major parties. And it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you will be kept out again. Can you, first of all, confirm for me, are the current rules such that you will be not allowed to participate? And here's, to me, the more important question is, what are you going to do about it? We're probably going to be kept out. Rebel News, twice in 2019 and 2021, we were kept out, but we sued. We went to federal court, and on the last day, we got ordered accredited. So Trudeau tried to block us, but twice the federal court let us in. Have you been blocked? And if so, will you sue?
We are not supposed to be blocked from participating to these debates, because the decision, the leaders' debates commissions told us that the decision will be next week. But as you know, CBC and Radio-Canada are the producer of these debates. And Radio-Canada in French just said 2 days ago that I won't participate in the national debates. So what I'm telling you, Ezra, the process is a fake process just to be sure that they will exclude the People's Party. They had the two conditions, and at every elections, they are coming with a new conditions to be sure that we won't participate. Now they said we need to have 310 candidates. That's done. We'll have more than that. But there's a survey, 4%, 28 days before the election. It's crazy. What we will do, yes, I'm speaking with our lawyers. We'll see what we can do. But at the end, it's a censorship. Like you said, the Green Party of Canada had 2% of the vote at the last election. Because of their votes is concentrated in BC on the island of Vancouver. And our vote, it's all across the country. We are a real national party. We had 5%. But now the Green Party will be there. And actually, the mainstream media also is pushing and giving visibility to the Green Party and not to us. So that being said, they said that we need to have 4% in the polls 28 days before the debate. But if you look at the polls that are out there, the public polls, we are not there. They don't put our name, People's Party of Canada. So for me, that commission, I know that at the head of that commission, on the board of that commission, there are former Liberals MPs and former Conservative MPs. So that's not in their advantage to have us and to debate against the Liberals and the Conservative. They don't want to hear what we have to say. I think they're afraid of our ideas. The more coverage and the more visibility we'll have, I can tell you, Ezra, we will grow faster. So now what will be our position if they're saying officially no next week? We'll have to look at it. But it's very disappointing. I was counting on that commission to be neutral, and they are not. We will do a campaign. We will be active. Actually, every day at 1 o'clock Eastern time, we're doing a press conference, answering questions with journalists. But, they won't put that on newspaper or on TV. For them, it's like we don't exist. But we are, we created that party 6 years ago. We are growing. I can tell you, I can feel a momentum on the ground. So we'll see what will happen. I hope that maybe we'll be able to participate. If not, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what will be our options.
Well, if a CBC reporter is already announcing that you're banned, it shows that it's a stitch up, it's an inside job, it's a preordained conclusion. And that would certainly be something that if I were your lawyer, I would bring to the attention of the federal court. I can't emphasize enough how critically important that is in my view. And I know this is an interview where I'm asking you questions and you're giving me your point of view. But if I can give you my advice, we were shut out twice. We went to court twice. We won twice. And it made all the difference in the world. And I can't think of any other occasion in this campaign that would give you a chance to have such a large forum to go toe to toe. Like, there's no way that any other debate would allow you to come into contact with Mark Carney. And so I think it's an essential act, if I may. But listen, you're the leader of the party. I'm just a pundit. My advice is worth exactly what I'm charging you for it, which is free. Let me ask you one last question and I appreciate, I can see that you're on your way to an event, so I won't take up too much time. Let me ask you one last question. I think that a lot of freedom-oriented or conservative-oriented Canadians admire Donald Trump in a number of ways, that he fought the media, that he's for a stronger nationalism, that he's anti-woke. There's a lot of reasons to like him. But that's become very difficult over the last 3 months as he's taken potshots at Canada, not just verbally, but putting tariffs on Canada, which will actually cost jobs. And blood is thicker than water. We do have a sense of nationhood, and it's a bit of an indecent proposal for some people it's a very challenging time for people who love Donald Trump as a symbol of freedom, but are now being subject to his tariffs. What would your advice be for the government? I mean, Pierre Poilievre is trying, I don't think, to be as bitter towards Trump as the Liberals, but he's critical of Trump. What would you say if you had Donald Trump's attention? What would you say in response to his tariffs?
I'll tell him, what you're doing, Mr. President, it is hurting your consumers and your businesses. I know that you want to have a new deal with Canada, and I know that you don't want to wait until 2026 for that new deal. I can tell you that we will be ready with you to sit at the table and have a deal right now by putting everything on the table, including what you don't like, Mr. President, the supply management, the cartel in dairy, milk, and poultry. I'm the only leader, Mr. President, that will put that on the table. Poilievre and Carney won't, and if they don't do that, we won't be able to have a deal with President Trump. Let's do it. Let's put the automobile industry in Ontario on the table, the dairy cartel on the table, and also, Mr. President, you said that you want reciprocal tariffs. I'm okay with that. If we impose zero tariffs, you may do the same. You will do the same. So be on the table. No, counter tariffs like, we did dollar for dollar. It is hurting our own economy more than the U.S. Trump and Carney are saying, we love you so much, Canadians. We want to defend our sovereignty against Trump. And so we are ready to tax you more with 25% tariffs. It's crazy. Canadians are paying for that. We must not participate in that trade war and put everything on the table to have a deal. That's the only thing that we must do, but also to have a better and more productive economy, balancing our budget in 1 year, having a zero inflation target with the Bank of Canada, and after that, lowering the second year, lowering taxes for everybody, cutting the corporate tax, the capital gains tax, a flat tax on corporation, real tax cut, because if you do that when you have a surplus, that's cut that, people will be able, that will be for a long term because you won't have inflation with that because it will come from surplus. So you need to do that and to work with provinces for having a real free trade. And it's so important, and I will end with that. It's so important to put supply management on the table because Carney and Poilievre are saying, Yeah, we did sign a lot of free trade agreements with other countries, and we must do that. What they don't tell you is we were not able to have a free trade agreement with UK last year because of supply management. We need to end that. We need to put that on the table to be able to have a free trade with US and other countries. So let's be serious about that. Tell the truth to these dairy producers. That will help Canada, that will help them, and that will help our Canadian consumers.
Maxime Bernier, great to catch up with you. Thanks for fitting us in your busy campaign schedule. Good luck.
Thank you, Ezra. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.